What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for jumping into another video. My name is Josh, and I am just your average Joe day trader. Well, the day has come and the time has passed. It is Wednesday, August 27th, 5:26 p.m., which means if you've been following along, the Nvidia earnings are in. And let me just say, it was a bit of a roller coaster ride. So what I want to do is I want to share with you in this video is not so much the market today, because to be quite frank, the market literally was in a stall most of the day. I had the opportunity, I bought in some additional shares of Rocket Lab. I did buy into SoundHound. I bought into SoFi. Much of this I had planned to hold for a little bit. But everything was literally on a bit of a pullback, drop down, and a stall. And it hadn't moved. It hadn't gone anywhere. Literally with the expectation, the anticipation of getting to the Nvidia earnings results, which took place at 4:20 p.m. on the dot. Literally, it was announced and the market went a little bit berserk. And I'm going to share that with you. I even did a live recording of the actual Nvidia results so you could see the candles and what happened with it, and know basically where I was at in it. I have a long-term portfolio with a good position of Nvidia, Palantir, Apple, in my E-Trade and Robinhood accounts. On this account, I decided just for the show of it and the fun of it, I bought 5 shares of Nvidia to have some skin in the game as a day trader. While I was online with my trading group and just sort of seeing what was happening and understanding what was happening as we communicated it back and forth. But at the end of the day, not the best result that we could have asked for. So I'm going to read to you some of the results summarized. So let's just jump right into it. So Nvidia's quarter 2 2026 earnings summary, which was reported today, August 27th, they actually reported that their revenue was $46.7 billion, up 56% year over year, up more than double, okay, their estimated expectations. They beat expectations by about $46.05 billion. So they finished and came in at $46.7 billion. That's pretty amazing, up 56% year over year. Their net income, they reported approximately $26.4 billion, which also was up and soared 59% year over year. You would have expected the earnings stock price to be at like $500,000 a share right now, okay? Earnings per share, okay? Adjusted non-GAAP earnings per share of $1.05, 1.05 cents, above the $1.01 consensus, okay, was actually, their EPS was higher at around 1.08 cents, $1.08. You're hearing this, right? It's amazing results, great results. Gross margin, non-GAAP margin at 72.7%, was expected at 72.4%. And some of the growth drivers they reported were the Blackwell AI platform, their data center revenue surge with Blackwell-powered systems up 17% sequentially. Their data center segment revenue rose $41.1 billion, up 56% year over year, though slightly below some expectations of the $41.3 billion. And then their gaming revenue climbed 49% year over year to around $4.3 billion. And shareholder returns introduced $60 billion in new buyback authorizations on top of the $24.3 billion already returned in H1 FY 2026. Their cloud macro dynamics and China headwinds really caused some disruption. They had no H20 chip sales to China in quarter 2 due to the export restrictions. $650 million of H20 chips sold to non-China customers, and a release of previously reserved inventory. And their quarter 3 guidance revenue forecast of $54 billion, up 2%, excluding any China H20 chip sales. So the market reaction for this is, despite beating on both top and bottom lines, Nvidia's shares declined 3% in the after hours trading, which we believe was driven by heightened expectations and the China's uncertainty, which continues to live there, continues to be there. We don't really even still have a deal yet on any type of tariffs and all of that. We just keep extending, postponing, and saying, hey, we got letters out there. So nothing yet on that. And obviously, it's still causing a lot of concern. The broader concerns over whether the AI market is overheating also weighed a little bit into the sentiment of why Nvidia's stock price dropped a little bit in this after hours result. So why do the results matter? Okay, what sparked the stock dip? Well, they had exceptional growth. All right, the quarter two performance was undeniably extremely strong, with breakout gains in revenue, their profits and margins, all powered by AI-driven demand, especially via this Blackwell platform. But there were some very high bar expectations. Given NVIDIA's leadership in the AI space, investors expected perfection. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I expected them to launch and run and roar and thought they were going to for about a minute until I saw it hit. Even the slight miss in any area like the data center revenue shortfall basically was enough to rattle the stock. And that's what's happening right now. We had a ton of people selling out in fear, saw it drop. I didn't. I stayed in on those 5 shares. I didn't even touch my long-term stuff because I know it's going to recover, and it's going to recover even twice as strong, right? And it's already, matter of fact, recovering as we are recording this video at 5:30 p.m. And of course, the China uncertainty, like I said, this ongoing geopolitical friction and the restricted H20 chip exports basically introduced a major risk factor in the eyes of investors. A lot of people think that that is a hard downfall for Nvidia not being able to sell, these chips based on what's going on and waiting for the tariff deal to take place. So this has dampened optimism for short-term growth. And then while the $54 billion forecast is strong, the exclusion of potential China revenue left some investors cautious about basically their sustainability and what is the upside. They closed at 181.99. They are sitting right now at about 176.81. So, I mean, honestly, on August 22nd, they were at $172 a share. They're back to almost $177 per share right now in this after hours market. And I believe that most likely it's going to continue to get back to where it was, grow a little bit more, maybe over the next couple of days. I think we'll wake up in the morning and be like, Nvidia, what happened? Did anything happen? And everybody will act like it was just a bad dream. But we'll see what happens. Well, here it is. Here is the actual Nvidia chart itself. Let's go ahead and hit play. And I'm going to kind of fast forward through this a little bit. So here is here we go, 4:05 p.m. So we're waiting. You can see there's a little bit of an uptick. Continue to build. We were all going like, okay, this is good. This is good. You're going to see some pop-ups and stuff because I forget I'm screen recording for the video. But here it goes. We continue. Okay, it's 413, 414, 415. A little bit of a red candle saying, uh-oh. 417, 418, and we're like, oh yeah, here we go. Earnings are reported. Here we go, everybody. Look at this. And then watch. Boom. Boom. It just ran all the way down. And then, as we got into 423, 424, you got some green candle. Oh, I wanted to look at it on the daily. So now we're back at it now. It's at 177.04, 10, 177.20. A lot of buying and selling still going on. And what ended up happening was it got all the way down to 171.86. And basically everything that we knew would happen if it did drop, people like me in our long-term portfolio continue to buy more and buy it as it's on the dip. This was basically Nvidia on clearance. And now it's back up here. And it's to a point where, it was at some previous day prices. And we'll see what happens. But basically, Nvidia was on sale. If you had the opportunity in my long-term account, I added more. I bought more into my long-term account because I know what's going to do. This is not going to die off. Nvidia is one of the largest companies on the stock market. And it didn't affect the S&P 500 as much as we thought it was going to also. Matter of fact, the SPY did have a bit of a drop with it and come down. And, it sort of mirrored Nvidia. But again, right back up. And here we are. We're right back up here. So anyway, that's the Nvidia update. Everything else, like I said, pretty much ran down. So we will see what happens tomorrow being a Friday, which, I don't love Fridays. We'll see what happens with a lot of these stocks. My belief is some of it now that people are going to be back into trading and not focused on what's happening with Nvidia and seeing that it's pretty stable where it's at. If we wake up in the morning and see that it's still pretty consistently where it is right now, then everybody's going to get back in the market and start doing their job, making money. So listen, if this is your first time being here, thanks for jumping in. Thanks for watching this video. Kind of a weird, unusual video for sure. But thank you for being here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that notification bell. And remember that the goal for me is to provide and share with you the best day trade stocks, the ones that I do analysis, look at the 30-day, the 50-day, the 200-day moving averages, understand the trend lines for them, look at my box strategy, and I decide based on my experience and looking at them, what are the best day trade stocks to get in and out of. I'm going to throw it up on the screen here for any of you that might be brand new. This right here is the best day trade stock list that we're looking at right now through the month of August. We may end up having, I'm going to actually be out of town, out of the country next week, the first week of September. So there'll be some videos that I'm going to be pumping out. They're already scheduled. There are going to be some training videos, though. We're going to do some chart training, some candlestick training. So hopefully those of you that are subscribers and like watching the channel, that you benefit from those, take a look and watch those. And I'll do some live quick shorts from the ship. We'll be on a cruise ship, the Oasis of the Seas. So anyway, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. Thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to giving you the next update tomorrow on Friday, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the market does when we open up at 4 a.m. into the 9:30 bell. See you tomorrow. Josh out. Peace.